Beer, beer, beer. Beer, beer, beer. Okay, well, brew day started. I got the water from Aldi. Since I don't have, I don't like using a bunch of reverse osmosis water from the filter at home, so I just tended to buy it, I guess, from Aldi and then just adjust it from there. So I've got my water profile set in Brewfather, where I have compensated, I guess, for using that water from Aldi, just from the generic kind of profile. So yeah, weighing out all my additions, getting everything prepped. Yes, it's my lovely grain. So yeah, this all this brew gear I got secondhand from Marketplace, to be honest, just throughout the months and I guess years now. But it is fun. I do enjoy it. So just a single grind on that one. Honestly, I haven't touched the depth gauge or changed it whatsoever. I just grind it. It looks all right, and it's worked pretty fine. So yeah, so we're at 72 degrees ish for a what's the word? I guess the start temp. And yeah, this being a one-man job is quite difficult, to be honest. Or it can be. Yeah, adding in all the grain, mashing in. So it's probably my favorite part of Brew Day, to be honest, is the mashing. Is seeing the water turn from a clear, just water to all the enzyme activity, happening, and actually producing a nice cool wort. Just seeing the kind of color change, because it's always kind of unexpected. And I'm using, I guess, a blend of different malts in this one. I think it's Gladfield Ale is the majority of it. Actually, sorry, pale malt is really the majority, and then there's some Gladfield and a little bit of crystal and raw wheat, apparently, which was meant to help with, I think, head retention and body. So yeah, we've added all the grain. And I think this is about half an hour in, and you can see that colour difference. So it's changed from that clear to, I guess, a nice golden yellow. And let's have a look. So I've cooled down a little bit and I've put it through the refractometer, and we look like we're reading 1050 something ish. You can pause it if you care. Honestly, whatever I get out of it, I get out of it. I follow a recipe, but I also don't really care that much. So yeah, I've got the sparging all my. Got the 5-minute boil edition of Chinook and Columbus, and then a 30-minute boil of Chinook and Columbus again, and then a dry hop of Centennial, Citra, and Eldorado. So it's a lot of hops in this. Oh yeah, I love sniffing some good hops, tell you what. So yeah, it is that was the first hop edition, the first wort. So as it's getting up to the boil, I've just chucked it in there. It's not quite at a boil yet, but it's at 96 degrees. So then we just wait and we watch it. We watch it because we can't look away. If we look away, then it's going to boil over, and then we're going to be stuffed. So yeah, when I'm heating up to a boil, I never look away. No. And I hopefully don't drop in the bloody mesh basket as well. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I kind of want to upgrade to the 65 litre unit, just because the 35 is good for single batches, but man, it gets kind of tense when you're when you're doing these batches and you're near the top of it, and it takes a while to get to the boil as well because it's just not enough power. Well, not as much, I guess, as a 65. But either way, we've done our additions, our boil additions, and it looks like it's cooler. Actually, I lie. It is not cooler. We hot cubed this one, so it is hot as hell, and we are transferring that one to the hot cube. And I tend to kind of leave it in the hot cube, let it settle overnight to hopefully room temp-ish, and then go from there. This looks like another hop addition. Oh yeah, sniff that good stuff. So that, I think, was our 5-minute boil hop addition, and we can tell that the pump is a bit stuffed. So all that hop debris didn't really stay in that. And we're at about 1053-ish, I mean, give or take, at that hot temp. But this is, I believe, the next day. We've got our yeast starter. It's thriving, absolutely thriving. So I've pitched the yeast, I've built the starter, I've cooled it down, and now I'm decanting off the I guess beer that's in the starter. Kind of separate that shit from the actual good quality yeast that's at the bottom there. So that is good yeast right there. A lot of good cultures there. And I have put magnets inside Ziploc bags that are completely sealed. And I've done that in order to maintain sterility, so I can dry hop in the pressure fermenter, which hopefully should be obvious. But we've got 2 dry hops. So we've got a day 2 dry hop and a 5-day dry hop. So you can see me kind of preparing these. I'm just trying to keep the area as sterile and as clean as I can. So I'm weighing them on top of alfoil boats, I guess, with a bowl of star sand soaked mesh. And I'm loading the dry hops into those sanitized sterile meshes. So keeping everything nice and clean, so that when we do dry hop, we don't introduce, or we hopefully don't introduce, any unwanted bacteria. Don't know if it's overkill. Might be overkill, but I'd rather kind of take care in doing it right. So we've got our hot cube, which is now cooled, and we've got our sanitized clean pressure vessel, and we are decanting into it, and also, I guess, aerating as much as we can while we do so. Not that we kind of need a very oxygenated wort, but yeah, that's what we're left with. So it wasn't quite at room temp after the next day, so I had to wait another 24 hours in the fridge for it to actually settle at 18, and it's good. It hasn't started fermenting by itself,
fermentation, so good clean,
which means it's been kept nice, sterile, and clean. So now I just kind of take everything off nice and cleanly, sterilize my hands, and load that nice, healthy yeast from that starter right into there. So we're using US-05 here. And honestly, I really haven't used many other yeasts apart from US-05, so either way, give it a whack. Chuck it in, see what happens. And this is our dry hops. So you can see I'm attaching the magnet to the outside, and I'm kind of clicking it into the magnet that's set on the inside, orientating it so that it's above the line of the wort that's in there. Then we can just add it all back together. So the yeast is added, I've got my 2 dry hops kind of loaded, I've got my spunding valve, which I'm just spraying there and I'm just about to put on. And the spunding valve at the start of fermentation is completely open. So we're not trying to build any pressure, we're just trying to facilitate fermentation. And then after a few days, after some activity started, I tend to kind of wind that back to, I don't know, some amount. You can see, I think this is the next day, we got a lot of good activity in there. Good krausen and lots of movement in there, which is great. And we've built up about 5 psi. So I did have that wound out, I think, pretty much the whole way, but it gets a bit sticky sometimes, I find, with the spundy one. But either way, this is our quote-unquote dry hop. As I hop it in there and also kind of rinse the sides. Not really necessary, but does the job. Further down the fermentation, where are we at? About 19 degrees. I think we were trying to ferment this one around 19. And it's gone up to about 11 psi, so even though I've wound it back and everything, I think that valve is just a little sticky. So I had to kind of dick around with that to actually wind it back out. But a lot of activity has stopped by this point. So this is, I think, 8 or 9 days in at least. Because I'm aiming to keep this second bag just in the fermenter for about 5 days. It's just meant to be a 5-day dry hop. Yeah, pressure's still a little high, maybe 7-8 psi, at 20-21 degrees. Cold crushing started. I do think I raised the temp a little bit at some point, but it does look very clean. And this is when fermentation is done. So now, time to actually pressure transfer from the fermenter to the keg. So I've filled it with sanitizing solution, I've added CO2 pressure, and I'm purging both the transfer line as well as I guess all the other lines that I might need. And I'm using Spundy there to get rid of my excess pressure in my keg. It's good. After I've cold crashed it, then it does clear out quite nicely. But you do need to kind of add quite a bit of pressure to the fermenter to have it transfer nicely. So I've figured out. And usually about, I don't know, as much as I can fill the keg with, I'll fill the keg, and then anything extra, I'll try and transfer to bottles, and then quickly cap them, basically. So they're already kind of pre-carbonated, maybe 50-60%, and these big, I think, pint bottles, I think they're 500ml, they probably take 2 sugar cubes, so I only put 1 in there, since it's already kind of part fermented, part carbonated. So, but yeah, the amount of hops that we put in the mesh screen, since it's so tightly packed in there, it's very I don't know if it actually, there's a lot of liquid interaction there. Beautiful. Look at that. Final gravity is what, like 10.07, 10.08. Yeah, it turned out pretty successfully. There are things I'd probably do differently, so... So yeah, the mesh screen, or the mesh bag dry hopping didn't really work that well because the magnets pierced the bag, as you could see in that last clip there, so it actually kind of... the magnet would have interacted with the actual beer, hence why the kind of discoloration on the hops at the end. So it didn't affect the taste of it, because like it tastes fine, it tastes good, like there's no off flavors or kind of metallic taste or anything, but it's not ideal because those magnets aren't food safe, I suppose. They're not the nice Teflon ones, they're just strong neodymium ones. So yeah, I'd do that differently, but yeah, apart from that, it turned out pretty good.
Will I make it again? Look, probably, because I bought 100 gram hop bags and I have lots of hops spare, so see how we go. But yeah, for a 5.8% pale ale, yeah, it looks quite gorgeous. In the sun, it looks really nice. But yeah, it's very, very easy to drink. Fruity. I don't really do beer notes or anything. It tastes good. Worth it. So I'd like to do a side by side with the actual Rocky Ridge Pale Ace. Rocky Ridge Ace. That's the beer I was trying to clone. So yeah, tune in next time. So see if this format works better. This commentary in post rather than commentating as I'm actually doing it. Yeah, any feedback or anything, holler at your boy. Cheers. Nice.